So we go to next walk, Rich Junction. So we will arrive Rich Junction 4 p.m. today instead of today. That means June 25th, 2024, instead of 2 p.m. because yesterday the ship departed late, 2 hours late. So they had to arrive here 2 hours late instead of 2 p.m. We arrive at 4 p.m. and leave Park Richardson at 11 p.m. today instead of 9 p.m. Today. So no message today because windy or storm. We cannot get a message. So we will arrive there soon. See, very rough. Very rough sea. We're approaching Kristiansand in Norway. Now it's 2:10 p.m. on June 25th, 2025, 2024. Norway in front. That's small island. Now we 2:50 p.m. on June 25th, 2024. The ship approaching Kristiansand in Norway, where is the most beautiful road in the world. That's the Atlantic Road. Ship turning left in here. The ship turn left in here. That's some boat forwards. The guy in the ship. The ship turning in this corner right here. This inland island. Where the ship that inland island. This inland island. the channel separate between northern that and inland that island. There's a separate channel here. Over here, northern that island. Northern that island. There's northern that island, this one. Northern that island. It's northern that island. Inland that island, this one, inland that island, yeah. Inland that island. So this separate channel here, separate two island. It's a northern that island. Northern that island. In that separate channel here. In separate channel here. See? Oh, there, northern that. Northern island. I think the ship go to this channel. I think the ship go to this channel here. Yeah.
The Narrows. Oh yeah, that is.
Ship went to
Pretty damn narrow.
the channel.
Norwegians jump too.
Go to the channel here. Yeah. No. Inland that's
Yeah.
no, that's channel.
Building the house
Island.
at the very top.
Oh yeah, up there.
Look over here. Ship over here.
Yeah. So we went around the bridge.
We did. That's cool.
Well, right away. I believe you better know what he's doing.
And also to Norway, as I got the feeling that this is your first port of call in our country, isn't it? Yes. So that's great. You have chosen Kristiansund for the first visit in Norway. But how many of you have been to our country before? Oh, quite a few actually, yeah. But perhaps you haven't been to the Atlantic Ocean Road, which will be in the end of our excursion today. We will make a round tour coming back to Kristiansund 8:30 o'clock. My name is Hildegund. I will be your guide to this tour, and our excellent bus driver is Odd Arne. So together we will make a tour out of town now. So you will get good impressions of Kristiansund, seeing it from different angles. Can you all hear me well in the bus? Are there no troubles? So if you have any questions during our tour, I'm easily recognizable in my green jacket. In the center of town, and it's a bit unusual that cruise ships are coming in the afternoon here. Perhaps we will also get a glimpse of the Norwegian going. Some changes here in the center. A very high new building in front, very high for our standard at least, is now making some change in this part of the harbor. It is going to be the new a university college. Looks almost completed, but needs some interior fulfilling inside. We have to wait a couple of minutes here. Perhaps the traffic light in front means that we are also having some excavating in the street in front of us. So a location for that sort of ship to come twice a day, both southbound and northbound. And this one we are seeing to the right hand in the distance there, Avila, is going to Bergen from Kristiansund. Is making its first visit to Kristiansund ever. So not only coming straight to Norway and Kristiansund, it is has never been here before. We are driving to Vågen, which is the inner part of the harbor, and here we have many leisure boats down on the right hand side, both modern ones as well as more old-fashioned wooden boats. They used to build many ships and boats here in the olden days, so a shipyard museum is also located down here. And one can do some ice skating under roof there in the winter season. It has expanded a lot the recent years, so for the locals it can be interesting walking inside here, but not so special for a foreign visitor, I suppose. But here you find one of two alcohol stores in Kristiansund, so altogether two alcohol stores mean that they have quite coming to another bridge. This one is the newer bridge. The one on the left hand is protected by law and can be used only by pedestrians nowadays.
Now we reach to
not
a different island,
almost like a museum, and can't be named of clipfish. It's simply a fish that is dried on the rock. Behind in the sofa all day. But we see that perhaps around 50-60% of the population keeps quite active, and the other part are a bit more lazy and not having so healthy sort of a life. Det var jo en buss som startet veldig tidlig. Ja, for det var jo store innkommer som var bussen der.
The bridge made first shops.
Startet klokken 4 kanskje, så eller mer. Det var business. But they haven't been here for so many years. The first one we will be going through when we are advancing in front here. It goes a bit slow for the moment. That tunnel opened back in 1992 and was part of the great project that could link the island town of Kristiansund to the mainland for the very first time back in 92.
92.
There were many in all different directions. You could come to a ferry terminal. So our excursion, for example, made 40 years ago or so, would have been much more complicated to carry out and could be much more time-consuming also. I hope time is not going too slowly now as we see that the traffic.
You must be German. Denmark.
Patient for the time being. Can often have a price range from beginning at 3 million kroner up to 5 or even 7-8 million Norwegian kroner. So it is quite different from where you are choosing a house, but around here it seems like it's quite popular to settle down nowadays. If you go out to the more distant countryside, on the mainland for example, you can find cheaper buildings down to around 1 or 2 million Norwegian kroner, serving the petrol industry I was talking about. A newer subsea tunnel first, and then it goes straight to the Atlantic Road, and also further on to our restaurant. So we will see what we can have a stop at first. I suppose they like us to come fairly punctually for the coffee break.
Because accident happened in a tunnel, so the driver had to go back, retention.
We are coming back to the shopping area where so many Kristiansund people are frequenting the shops.
At det var jeg og Sæbjørn som sto her og ikke på bildet, for nå var det ikke kjøreprogram.
At its best when it's getting a bit stormy. In the old days to Latin countries, to Spain for example, and as a ballast for making the ships a bit heavier when they went back again, empty, after having unloaded their fish cargo, they brought some Spanish soil back again, and much of the Spanish soil was left on the graveyards in Kristiansund. So therefore many Kristiansund people who have passed away in the old days, they were buried partly in Spanish soil. Quite a few ferries are nearby, even though there is not much ferry traffic, and on a bicycle going to the tunnel, which is not allowed to do. We will see that the tunnel we are coming to is fairly long. It has a length of 5.7 million Norwegian kroner, as the tunnel opened in 2009. It was first meant that 70% of the construction cost should be financed by toll charges, many people here expecting a long-lasting payment time. Often big road projects in Norway can be lasting about 20 years before everything is fully financed by the car drivers. And now we are coming to the blue light in front. The blue light here is indicating we are now on the deepest point in the tunnel. Right here for a second, 250 meters below the sea level. before it goes quickly upwards again.
Det var kjekt å ha bare ett språk, eller liksom så vant til å ha det.
Nei, de er
Tysk og engelsk.
Det er vel.
Ja, det er stor forskjell på bussene. Liksom, somtiden er en veldig rask buss. Da trenger du tida for å se alt lokalt. Og så plutselig er det en veldig treg buss. Da må du busse på tekst.
Ja, men når du sånn her er veldig treg i bakgrunnen.
Ja, han er sånn medium, han er veldig treg.
Ja, så nesten alle kjører fra den bussen her i bakgrunnen. Ja. 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 Nei, jeg kommer ikke ut til dit igjen i dag. Da har jeg tatt den bussen hjem i dag. Å ja. Ja. Ja, men jeg kjører tur i morgen, så jeg hjem for sent i kveld, og så
Đó đi cái ngã khác, ngã nó kia ngược lại này, chỗ gì đó, ai xin chỗ mà họp mà mình 2 ngày nữa mình đến, chỗ mà con nhỏ cái gì đó, Linh đó, chỗ đó xuống đâu hết, phải hết, xuống rồi đó, không đi vào thôi đâu.
Fant ut at dette er ja, men det ser vi når vi pakker ut. Nei. Ja, nei, det er greit.
Hay á, đi này rất là hay, ve lắc kìa, đi được. Tới lên cuối đường rồi.
It is great coming out of that tunnel, seeing daylight again. Here we are on the island called Averøya. So now we are not so very far from the Atlantic Ocean Road. Crossing the island, we will come to the fabulous attraction.
Qua đây là, qua tới ai lên đây nè.
Ja, det er det.
Oh,
For det liksom etter hvert. Skriver til Katarina at vi til turen.
An industrial estate not so far from the tunnel opening, and we will see more of houses and farms as we continue. As we are driving on, we are approaching Bremsnes, and at Bremsnes you find the not active ferry port where the motor traffic is very little for the time being. But at Bremsnes you also find the ancient stone circle, an ancient stone circle dating back to the Bronze Age, where we believe our first Norwegian king was cutting his long hair and beard in the year of 872. The king was called Harald Hårfagre, or Harold the Hair Fair. He was betting with a local chieftain that he wouldn't do any hair cutting, before he had gathered all the different parts of Norway into the first unified kingdom ever. So after plenty of hardships and bloody battles, the king with the long hair could return to Bremsnes on this island for doing the very historical hairdressing. We can't see the stone circle from the bus window, but once more we are able to see Kristiansund again when we are moving forwards here, passing by the high vegetation. We get a glimpse of the island town once more. Small cute camping wagons that can be rented by tourists. But we also have a large factory nearby. The factory is located on our left-hand side in the far distance, but the high chimney of the factory is seen quite well both from here and from other places nearby. The factory that is located to the left hand is producing a great deal of nutritious sort of fish fodder that is needed again also, so then it might change. Large fields on the left hand, and they also have much forest in the mountains. Two more narrow roads are going from here across the small mountains to the fjord side of the island, but they are not so well intended for bus traffic. So sturdy cars that are able to do steep roads can drive there. Most of the farms we have around here are quite small, so if you have 25, 30 milking cows, it is looked upon as being a fairly good at the beginning of September. So many sheep farmers are looking for their sheep in the higher altitudes in the September.
The forest.
We are also passing by a completely new primary school. They have recently opened, and they have also made it possible for people to buy new properties nearby the new school, so they can build their homes in this area where you have very little build-up areas. But now we see the highest and most spectacular bridge on the Atlantic Road in front of us. It is still a fair distance away actually, but the bridge being so high can be seen from different angles. They started building the famous road back in the early 1980s, and in the summer of 1989, after 6 years of road construction work, they could open the famous road attraction. But before the project was even started, many locals considered that this project was a completely ridiculous idea, as linking small islands together by 8 bridges seemed something rather unusual. Other persons suggested that a subsea tunnel could be more practical, but fortunately for all of us, so many years later, after 1989, the local and brilliant idea turned out to be a wonderful reality. So I suppose not that many people would have come to visit us in this part of the world hadn't we had the Atlantic Ocean Road. It seems to be attracting people every day. Ja, og bare 5:06, så jeg tror vi på Trøggerodd når vi gir den en halvtime. For det jo ikke langt til Storholmen heller. Kommer vi for tidlig, så the bus now, and in this very moment we are coming close to the Atlantic Road, using once more the Norwegian name on the brown sign, Atlanterhavsvegen. On the right hand side is a famous restaurant run by a Dutch lady, and it has a perfect location, so near the ocean and the road itself. We see out in the ocean a small island with many buildings. That is the tourist resort island of Moholmen, famous in Norway also because of the modern Viking man of the 1980s. Ragnar Thorseth was sailing around the world in his open Viking ship in the 80s, and after that he opened the tourist resort on the island. Some of the islands here are fairly green and lush, and the elder trees are blooming for the moment. We can even see a bit of agriculture in front here. On the next island we are coming to, there is a neat looking farm. We see so well from this side, and a family is living permanently on that farm. They have kids going to school on the large island. We have big crossing, and they have also quite a few sheep belonging to the old breed of sheep in Norway, the tiny dark colored sheep that can be outdoors partly in the winter also. Some horses belonging to the family can often be seen on the fields grazing, but I can't see them for the moment though. We have the high bridge towering in front there, so it is a perfect place nearby for having a longer photo stop. We will spend some time there, and if you feel that you have been sitting too long in the bus, you can come out, go for a nice promenade if you like to. A little cafe is also open now in the afternoon, but please remember we are going to have a coffee break later on in our restaurant, also near the ocean, and that coffee break is included in the tour price. So you don't have to buy anything extra here if you don't feel like you are very hungry or very thirsty. We will try to come to the restaurant later at 19:20, having about 50 minutes there. So the good thing now is that as the first tunnel was closed due to the accident, we will be using this road once more. We will drive it twice on the way back also. I think that's a great thing to do, because 8 kilometers don't last forever, and now we have time for a longer photo stop on the island in front of us here. It has a circular walk surrounding the island, and we see quite a few people are walking there now. This walking trail is very comfortable, suitable.
Oh, så.
Det er så.
Jeg kjører inn på de dansstøt. Länder ran.
Links oder rechts?
That the fish is biting better on the hook when the weather is growing rough like it is now. There are a few houses around us, but nowadays there are not so many people living near the Atlantic Road permanently as it was many years ago. The locals are often driving a bit fast. And if you go back to the year of 1900, there used to be 120 people, as I mentioned here, staying here at that time without any bridges between them, and they started moving towards the mainland in the 1960s. I'm sure that people living here. The road is ending as a Atlantic Road in front of us here now. We are coming to the mainland and we will also see a lot of interesting things here. But please keep in mind we will be using the Atlantic Road for our return later also. Some people are leaving their cars behind on the parking space, the right hand. One can go for a nice long coastal walk nearby. And now we will be driving to a small settlement on the right hand side. Leaving the main road, we are heading for Skottemsvika, a nice settlement near the ocean. So here one can't be too stressed when driving on the narrow road. It has a speed limit of only 50 kilometers.
What the white stuff there?
Yeah, the white plastic bales we can see very often around us. They are of course containing hay or more exactly silage made by the farmers, a good way of preserving the grass. Here there are more houses, also a workshop for cars on the right hand. So most of the buildings we are going to pass by in this settlement, they are used permanently. So a bit different from the Atlantic Road. It won't be long before we can see the ocean again when we are coming a bit further here now. Not all the houses around here are large and luxurious. On the right hand, there is a nice fisherman sitting in his rowing boat, holding the Norwegian flag in front of him. Oh, he's a cozy sort of guy. And the lady who has made him, she has passers-by with cars. They are curious to stop and buy a sculpture. And the sculpture she's making, they can be quite heavy.
Very much so.
The lighthouse we see in the far distance on the right hand was opened in 1842, and strangely enough many of our lighthouses are not so old. They were erected. There are so many underwater rocks in this coastline also that the need of sea pilots has always been great, and nowadays the sea pilots are having their base in Kristiansund, but in the old days many sea pilots had their home on the island we see to our right hand side. The small island with the red and white painted houses is very near the shore, so from that island the sea pilots had in the past a good position for reaching any ships in need of assistance out here. The little mountain we have in front of us is partly covered by clouds and the rain showers now, but seeing it in its full size shows that it has the shape of a horse head. So now you see only the lower part of the horse head. It's here, so you might say. Then the seafarers must be careful not going out sailing. Now we can't see any movement of the mane of this horse head, but there are actually two towers on top of the small mountain also that are hiding in the clouds, and those two towers, they are part of a military area. From that military survey post, one can control the coastline here, discovering any possible not so desirable submarines coming. There used to be many Russian submarines in Norway before. They were coming and going so frequently up and down the coast. Not very much wanted, but they were regarded as a part of the everyday life. Nowadays, any possible jokes, as we did before, about Russian submarines are not so very amusing any longer.
We got some in Cuba too. Yeah, baby. Thank you. Renault.
Hey.
Yeah, it is.
But a few optimistic farmers can also have some barley fields. So usually you can have at least two grass crops during the summer. If the summer season is fairly warm and long-lasting, you can have a third one. And it is good to have plenty of grass or silage in the white plastic bales we are steadily seeing. Our domestic animals had to be inside the barn building for quite a few months, from late autumn till the late springtime. We are back on the main road here, so we can speed up a little bit, passing by a terrible looking house. Every time I come passing by the building on the left hand, it looks like it can be falling down in any moment. So the house owner has unfortunately not been taking care of his old building. It seems to be without any rescue possibilities.
The ownership of land here, does a country like Germany?
And if you buy a farm, you get usually quite a lot of acres, smaller or bigger properties of land, both fields and forests usually. But you can buy an older house with a huge garden, then you get ownership to the land also, of course, but the size can be quite various from one place to another. When it comes to newer houses being built, then you are left to smaller properties usually. They are trying to of the land where they are planning new homes, and then the garden around the house or the property itself is not so large. Perhaps the house can be built in 2 or 3 stories for making it more spacious. So the ownership to the land is of course granted when you buy a property. When it comes to the forest in Norway, then the country is a bit special compared to other European countries, as 77% of the forest, the woods of Norway, are owned by private people and not by the municipalities or the state. The state owns just about 20 or less than 20%. So 77% means in the southeast of the country, perhaps larger forest properties, but around here they are part of many small farms. Yeah, we are coming to Farstad in front of us there, and there is a nice breakwater nearby where one can go for a walk, especially when the weather is nicer. The restaurant also has quite a few wooden buildings outside, cabins for rent. Some are purchased.
Få utgangsbør for de skal først. For det er litt sånn vakkert her, hvis man skal liksom først gå gjennom første etasje. Og det er best å vette den, og så sier de at jeg bare skal springe ut, så trenger jeg ikke åpne bakdøra.
So when we are stopping in front here now, outside the restaurant building, please remain in your seats just for a minute. I will run out and make sure where we are going for our coffee break in order not to mislead anyone.
Thì, hey, em đi anh quay cho, đi đó đó. Bốn trăm mấy. Thì ra là cá, taxi đâu biết được, mướn đâu nước.
Anytime you want, turn and look at me.
Wait, not now.
I got you. It doesn't take me but a second. Look, you see? Okay, let's take another one.
Yeah, delete that one.
Let me not dead.
Actually, I'm a key scrub. I work special needs. I had a summer off, so
I don't want to be some kind of trick.
you and my wife would get my wife
Why
one
did
here
it?
for
Yeah, why did
years. they probably love that. Yeah.
Không.
Yeah, that's why he's got a piece. You know, we always
Chắc mẹ đi vô mẹ đi tìm trước khi đi
I met him
lâu
with lunch.
uống cà phê đó.
Yeah, I know stories on that though. You have a lot of stories to tell. Smarter than that.
Lấy cái tên á. Ba tối ngày đó bà lấy tên. Exhibition cái gì nữa ta? Chẳng ai ở theo, trống trơn à.
Có nè.
Bên đây nè, bên
Dạ, biết
nhà
rồi.
riêng nè. Để cái dấu này là giống như là museum hay cái gì đó. Mẹ ra mẹ đứng trên lan can cái nhà này.
Ờ.
By taking the road to the right-hand side, one could have ended up in Molde town also, a popular town which will have a gigantic sort of cruise ship arriving tomorrow morning. And the so-called Euribia has space for more than 6,000 passengers. So it is the biggest ship to come to Molde town this summer. So we can see on our right-hand side traces of the bridges and the small islands again. The big cranes to our right-hand side on the mainland, they belong to an enterprise where they are taking care of the big nets they are using in the fish farms. The big nets containing the fish in the fjords need to be cleaned and repaired sometimes, and the enterprise is taking care of that job. In front of us we have the sign looking like an ornament telling us that we are now coming to some sort of attraction, and in this case it is our Atlantic Ocean Road once more. One can close the whole road by using the barrier in front of the first bridge, but fortunately that is not used so often. We have often stormy conditions there, but seldom extreme weather. And once more we have the buildings on the right hand now. They belong to this sea sport and diving center. Most of the bridges here, they seem to fit into the landscape so well that sometimes you are not noticing that you are crossing a bridge at all. But also now, the highest and most spectacular bridge is seen so well from here, even though a fair distance away from us.
camping cars are settling in for the night probably. Some will most presumably be staying here for the night hours. If you look to the right hand side, you might notice behind the rocks there is a little rusty boat rack. The boat rack you can see behind the rocks to the right hand was thrown there during a hurricane that was very strong in the winter of 1992, and the hurricane is still remembered so many years later after 1992. And the boat remains there also, strangely enough, almost like a memorial place. We are back on the Angler Bridge in front here. So many people are withstanding the weather, patiently waiting for the fish to bite. It is always an adventure sailing up to the high bridge, feeling like a free seagull, and often there are some seagulls located up here also, having a watch above the fjord.
He knows the tide place, and he sees one.
You probably recognize your island with a circular walk where we had a longer break in front of us here. Not so many people are coming here in the late evening time. The little cafe inside the black wall is closing at 8 o'clock, and the weather is not so tempting any longer as it was in the early morning. We are coming to Geitøya, the goat island in other words. The goat island used to have many goats grazing here in the old days, but now in our modern time we are only having a few sheep of those smaller sort of breed, the older Norse type, and they are often quite dark, and their wool can be a little coarse and not so very fit for using in clothes, for example. From the pier on the left hand side, where we see some people are walking, one can sail out to the island of Håholmen. One can be a passenger on board a replica of a Viking ship actually. The Viking ship leaving once an hour from June till August, bringing people out to the popular island, where one can stay overnight in a hotel standard. We are passing by the little farm we saw earlier today. It is on our right hand side, and they have done great work for restoring the old farmhouse. The road is popular among many film producers, so many expensive cars have been driving across the bridges in car commercial films. And in during such film sessions, the road is closed for some time, making the locals very curious, of course. Even James Bond has been here. James Bond came well in time before the COVID trouble started, and James Bond made some spectacular stunts across the High Bridge, which can be seen in his film No Time to Die. Oh, so we are coming back to the large island of Averøya. Here we are seeing some nice cabins with grass roofs on the left hand, and also the restaurant building
having the same sort of roof. If you look to the left there, you get a glimpse of it. Quite a few people have been there this early evening for having a dinner, as the passengers attending almost daily excursion from Kristiansund to Molde town from the coastal steamer ship. Then they are always having a dinner in that restaurant, so around 7 o'clock. And then they are eating clipfish, actually. Clipfish made into the Spanish sort of bacalao. For some people, like to stay on living on the farm, and then it's a good cooperation that the active farmers can use the land that is not so necessary for themselves any longer. The highest mountain peak on the island is still a bit secretly tucked inside the clouds on the right hand side. So unfortunately that it's such a weather right now, but I'm glad it's not raining any longer. Just a very little drizzle. It is seldom drying out around here. The vegetation keeps green throughout the whole summer, and usually you don't have any fear of forest fires starting either. Anyone having suspicious plans of starting a fire must work a little hard for getting successful with this not so good intention. So usually one can be quite safe when starting a bonfire. We were celebrating solstice or midsummer eve on Sunday, but there was not so much bonfires seen this year because not of dry conditions, but because of the strong winds in this area.
Dạ mình cũng nên đi bộ ra thể thao. Hôm nay nó nhiều bộ.
Xíu nữa còn tiếng rưỡi nữa. Đi ra bộ ra.
Or the hat of Bremsnes. So it looks like a large dark hat when you see it from Kristiansund, and seeing it from the ship when sailing past also. That was used by a settlement of people back in the Stone Age. So the Stone Age settlement is also interesting to look at for anyone who has plenty of time for walking into the cave, being 70 meters deep. As we understand, there have been people living on this island for a very, very long time. To very eager stone collectors. It's a married couple. They have the house and the petrol station on the right hand, and they also have a very good-looking collection of rare stones and minerals. One can fill up the car with diesel or petrol, and thereafter go into their gallery, looking at all the different rare stone types they have gathered there. But if you look on the right hand side, you notice that Kristiansund town is not far away from here. So the road down on the right hand side leads down to the harbor where the ferry used to be leaving before 2009. Popular among nearly 99% of the population. We are approaching the subsea tunnel, and as it is so steep to drive, I try to keep away from it personally in a private car. I feel that it is a little bit tough to drive for myself. But as you know, we have a very exceptional good driver today, and the bus is also having good brakes. So 5.7 kilometers is the deep and steep tunnel, and there are some houses on top of the tunnel area. That is an old settlemental houses with a good view towards Kristiansund. Long as the ferry was running between the island and Kristiansund, one had the possibility of leaving the car behind in the ferry terminal if one wanted to, and go as a foot passenger on the small ferry, which needed about 15 minutes going to town. And then it was easy walking in the town center, not having to find a parking space for the car. Nowadays, this possibility has vanished. One has to go either by car or bus to the tunnel. So bicycling or walking here is of course strictly forbidden. It wouldn't be so very pleasant either. We are coming down to the blue light again. The blue light in front of us once more, indicating 250 meters below the sea level. Our bus driver is special in many ways, and now I got the strange information that today, as we also, the two drivers and the two guides were served a piece of chocolate cake and a cup of coffee. He reveals for us that it was the first time he's eating chocolate and cake since he was 12 years old. Oh, that is amazing. Oh, I can imagine myself staying away from chocolate and cake for so long. The tunnel is very empty for the moment, so one can perhaps imagine that there is not so much daily traffic here, but in the mornings and afternoons there are usually quite a few cars and trucks coming here, as well as the very frequent going public buses. They have buses with a strong engine that can keep up with the steep conditions here.
Det var en lovlig brannstickning på det, så till alla den här, för det var 10% och det var 7, så
Ja, 314 har jo 8,5. Men de sier vel at det skal ikke bygges noen flere sånne som det er. Men jeg vet ikke.
We are back in Kristiansund, and Kristiansund is renowned for having a lot of colorful houses. Now as grey and white is getting so popular, perhaps the colors of town will change gradually, but looking to the left hand we get some colors and later on during our city sightseeing there will be also some other colorful houses. You recognize the surroundings because we were driving here also in the afternoon, but now we will take the main road back to the town center. If you look to the left-hand side, you will recognize where we were starting our tour. We were driving through this boat area, having the little marina down there, and the narrow road we were driving. When we are crossing the bridge here now, we are back on the main island of Kristiansund, Kirkelandet, meaning simply the church island. The German bombardment of town in April 1940 led to a great destruction. So many of the houses you see around here, they were built after the war ended, having a typical post-war architecture. The scene is changing a bit when we are coming in front here. Then we are driving to a part of town that was lucky not being destroyed by the bombardment in 1940. So here we see on both sides of the street good-looking old-fashioned houses, some of them dating back to the 19th century. They are nearly all of them well kept with new painting, more or less. Some of them are very popular to buy as homes, even though they have quite a lot of traffic passing by. Walking into the side streets can show some gems of old-fashioned architecture also. But the main church in town,
located on the right-hand side here, is looking quite modern. It was built on the same site as a former wooden church that was burning down after the bombardment, and it was inaugurated here in 1964. So in the 60s, people found the architecture a bit strange and unusual for them. But now, so many years later, 60 years later, they have got used to it, and the interior is nicer looking. We have the old small opera house of town up on the right-hand side, in the end of the small street. It is from 1914, and opera music is very popular here. So the new construction we see on the left-hand side is going to be the new opera house, or at least part of the culture house they are building here. If you come to Kristiansund in the winter, you can enjoy 2 weeks long opera music festival. Perhaps all this interest of opera is coming by the influence of all the Latin people who have been here through the centuries, Spanish, Italians and Portuguese. Who knows, the Kristiansund people are also quite colorful and outgoing persons who are easily getting in touch with visitors. But now it's time for the driver and myself to say tusen tack. I forgot to teach you those 2 words before we went into the restaurant. Sorry about that, but please remember the 2 words of saying thank you. In Norwegian, it's very easily learned and remembered. Tusen tack, like 1,000 thanks actually. Tusen tack will impress any Norwegians you meet during your tours along the coast. So please remember not forgetting any belongings in the bus when you are leaving us now. We wish you all a safe and pleasant journey further on. But please tell me, where are you going next from Kristiansund? What is the next port of call? Trondheim. Oh, a big city.
Đây có lạ, nó không mưa lớn, mưa gì ra mà mưa tối ngày. Đi coi cái port nữa về. Qua đây. Seaport. The ferry go to that island. That island á. Ồ con sống tưởng đâu con cá voi. Cho cái cho biết. Tại thành phố này chưa đi.
Đây người ta ba đi Atlantic Road rồi ba nên đi vô cái thành phố này, ba coi cái thành phố không.
Thì đang rất quan trọng hơn. the ship leaves in port. Richardson. Let's see the port Richardson. Ship leaving the port Richardson. Now 11:15 p.m. Auction. Oceana midnight dinner. Now it's the 11:55 p.m. The sun still showing light.
Love you. Say hello to everybody. Okay, bye, baby.